Those mosquitoes tested positive here in Stonington. Now, this early detection could be a sign of what's to come, and that has people walking on this trail taking precautions. That sound, a staple of the trails and a sign mosquito season is coming back around. The Eastern Equine Encephalitis virus, or Triple E, was detected in mosquitoes sampled on August 5th in Stonington.
It was terrifying. I mean, some of the cases and stories.
Samantha Mandello remembers the severity of Triple E season last year. She wasn't about to skip the bug spray on her afternoon hike.
That's a precaution you should always take when going outdoors in the woods where there's standing water.
Standing water is a breeding ground for mosquitoes, hence why swampy areas east of the Connecticut River tend to see the most activity. This detection comes a few weeks earlier than expected and around the same time as it did last year.
Typically, we don't see Triple E virus emerge until later in August. If at all.
Triple E was detected in 28 communities across the state in 2019. 4 people contracted the virus, 3 of which died. Mosquitoes have already tested positive for Triple E in New York and New Jersey, and a person tested positive for the virus in Massachusetts.
So once it's introduced into our area, what we typically see is a virus will persist for a couple years.
Experts ask that you begin taking precautions to prevent bites by applying bug repellent and covering up exposed areas as dusk rolls around. The mosquitoes infected with Triple E tend to be most active from dusk to dawn.
The fact that we know it's here, we're just going to continue to monitor trap mosquitoes and see if there's further buildup and spread of the virus.
The West Nile virus has also been detected in parts of the state, although there have been no human cases yet. And again, it may be early in the mosquito season, but it's always important to have your bug spray with you. In Stonington, Dave Puglisi, Fox 61 News.